Hey guys, JSP on JSP Talk Sports here, and we're talking World Cup qualification, playoffs, and we'll talk about some friendlies as well. But the big action goes down today in Europe and in Intercontinental playoffs. 22 teams vying for the six remaining spots in the World Cup. So, crucial times for some of these teams, Italy especially, Jamaica, Suriname, Denmark, Sweden. So, just going through in the UEFA qualifying, we have 16 teams vying for four spots, and they are divided into basically semi-finals, all one leg, by the way, semi-finals, and going to a final for the remaining spots. So basically, like two games they have to play to make it into the World Cup. So how the groups are structured, we have the 12 runner-ups from the qualifying group stages in Europe, and four in through the UEFA Nations League, which some people might argue, some of them really should not make it because they would have done badly in the group stage. So those four teams that made it through the Nation League route are Romania, Sweden, North Macedonia, and North Ireland. And well, the 12 runner-ups as we go through, you'll see. So in part A, we have Italy playing Northern Ireland, and how it goes to the higher ranked teams get the home advantage. So in this case, Italy is playing at home against Northern Ireland. And we have Wales playing at home against Bosnia and Herzegovina, right? For this one, I know a lot of partners who support Italy. As I would have mentioned, Italy missed out in 2018, 2022. They've been, how to put it, nervous at the moment. So this one is some people not even sure that they're going to beat Northern Ireland. So Italy, Northern Ireland, that one. And people, they even Gattuso, he said the nervousness within their squad ahead of their clash against Northern Ireland is something that they had to look at. And they would have actually had a home defeat against North Macedonia in the 2022 playoff. That is something that still haunts Italy to this day, but he said that their team should be too much for Northern Ireland. So listen, from a footballing point of view, sorry Northern Ireland, but I think Italy should and supposed to have this one. Northern Ireland are without Conor Bradley from Liverpool and Dan Ballard from Sunderland, so they are a bit weakened. The Northern Ireland coach, Michael O'Neill, he guided the country to Euro 2016 qualification, is attempting to do the same for World Cup qualification for the first time since 1986. But he really needs a full strength squad to be able to have any chance against Italy. So I'll have to go with Italy for this one. And then continuing in the group, in the part A, we have Wales versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. This takes place in Wales, Cardiff. So Wales going in, Craig Bellamy, legend. They sit actually 35th in the FIFA rankings. So 36 places against Bosnia. And Bosnia having won two and drawn two of their four previous meetings with Wales. And they lost just one of their games in Group H, finishing runners-up to Austria. But as I said, Wales have the home advantage. They have an absence of the Wrexham forward, Kiefer Moore. That definitely will be a hurt to them. And on the flip side, Edin Dzeko, I thought he had retired. He has scored 6 goals in 8 games for Schalke. So he's one that could possibly give Bosnia and Herzegovina the edge there. But I'm still going with Wales. I'm going with Wales to progress in this one, Wales versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. So it's Italy versus Wales. And listen, I had to go with Italy. I had to go with Italy to beat Wales and make it through. I really don't want to see them miss out on a third straight World Cup. So although it will be difficult for them to, they're not the best Italian side for the longest while. But they do have Donnarumma in the back. A couple Mancini, Bastoni, Calafore in the back. So they have a good, you would say, defensive unit there, and it's up to them to see whether they can get it done against Wales. I think they can get it done. I think they will have enough. So Italy to progress through this group, this part A. Then moving on to part B, we have starting with Ukraine versus Sweden. Remember, Sweden, Graham Potter coach side, they have Mr. Isak, their star striker, still injured. Ukraine are playing at home. And Sweden failed to win a single game during the qualifying campaign. So this is where I'm talking about some people will have a big problem with Sweden being there through the Nation League playoff. And they finished bottom of Group B. They still made it through with 4 defeats and 2 draws. But they had secured their playoff spot even before going through the group stage. And we know Isak with his broken leg, Sweden, he will be a big miss. But they have Gyökeres from Arsenal, meaning that they still carry a good threat. And Ukraine have some fitness doubts over Yaramchuk, the Lyon forward, but having to play on neutral territory actually in Ukraine. All right, because Ukraine's supposed to have the home advantage, but we all know what's going on in Ukraine. So they're playing at Levante Stadium. They're still expected to put up a significant fight there. Remember, they will want to do it for their country, especially as they're going through war at the moment. I still think Sweden should get it done. So I know there's a bit of a toss-up. So it could be either the Ukraine or Sweden. I'm going to go with Sweden for that one. And then in that same part B, we have Poland versus Albania. This is happening in Warsaw, Poland. Both teams finished runners-up in their group, so they definitely earned the right to be here. Poland finished behind Netherlands, Albania finished behind England, so not too shabby there. And this is potentially the tightest match in the European playoffs in terms of these evenly matched teams. We know Poland with the Robert Lewandowski. He will be the big threat up front. Although he's 37, he's still firing, and his last chance of being at a World Cup. Albania is one of the most underestimated teams in Europe, and they have lost just twice in their last 10 games, both against England, by the way. So, really good side, actually. But the home advantage, I think, with Lewandowski should give them the edge to make it through. I'm going to go with Poland. So, I have Sweden versus Poland here. And I have Poland to beat Sweden, Poland to make it through from this part B. Moving on to part C, we have, first of all, Turkey versus Romania. Turkey having the higher rank, they'll be playing in Istanbul. And everything points to a Turkey win in the whole thing. They have Real Madrid attacker Gurla, Juventus winger Yildiz, and Porto goal. But they have the experience also of Inter Milan midfielder Çalhanoğlu and Dortmund Özcan. But Turkey in their favor as well, having the home advantage. Romania, coached by 80-year-old Lucescu, and they lack experience in their squad, largely sourced from the Romanian Super League. And according to this one, it should be Turkey to make it through. Turkey versus Romania. And then on the other side of this part C, we have Slovakia versus Kosovo. Slovakia playing at home. Kosovo are the lowest ranked of the European playoffs teams, by the way, sitting in 79th, still pretty high ranked. And Slovakia won all three of the qualification home games, including a 2-0 victory against Germany. So not an easy side here, Slovakia. And home advantage would be a big advantage for them. And they have the experience of Fenerbahce defender, Skriniar, Napoli, Lobotka. Kosovo should not be underestimated though. They have secured home and away wins against Sweden in the qualification stage, and also drew with the group winners that they were in Switzerland. But Kosovo must overcome Slovakia's strong home record. I have Slovakia making it through in this one against Kosovo. So it should be Turkey versus Slovakia. And I'll put Turkey as going through in this one. Turkey beating Slovakia to make it through Part C. Through the Denmark versus North Macedonia one first. Denmark is at home. This is... Denmark took just 1 point from their final two games against Belarus and the eventual group winner Scotland, which means that the pressure is on their team now to make amends for Denmark. They're playing at Copenhagen, so they'll have home advantage. Eriksson, Højlund, their injuries have kept out Kasper Schmeichel. Plus, they're missing Dogu and Christensen. Should also give the Danes enough advantage, but they failed to do the job in the qualifiers. North Macedonia 2022 playoff win to Italy. That is highlighting their ability to cause an upset. So the Danes are fading a bit. North Macedonia could win this tie, but I'll have to go with Denmark in this. I'll have to go with Denmark to beat North Macedonia, even with all their injury issues. And then we have Chechnya versus Republic of Ireland. This takes place in Prague. Chechnya higher ranked. That's Ireland having a 3-2 win over Hungary. And they sealed Ireland's qualification for the playoffs. The Irish have been just a point off the bottom into the final two qualifiers. But a 2-0 win against Portugal and the win over Hungary booked a playoff spot against the Czechs. And Chechnya beaten at home in the home stage, but they suffered an embarrassing away defeat to Faroe Islands. So that is a big surprise there, Chechnya. The Irish have the momentum on their side, which should be enough to swing this tie, but I'm really going to go with Chechnya in this one, Chechnya. So Chechnya versus Denmark. I have Denmark making it through group or Part D. So that's it for the European spots. And how will it work? So we spoke about they are split into two semifinals, single leg, and then a single leg final, and the winner alone advancing. So only 4 spots up available. So the winner from Part A, which is we have it as Italy, they will be joining Group B with Canada, Qatar, and Switzerland, right? The winner from Part B, which I have as Poland, will be joining Group E with Holland, Japan, and Tunisia. Pretty tough group there. The winner from Part C, which we have as Turkey, will be joining Group C with the USA, Paraguay, and Australia. So pretty even group there. If Turkey goes into that group, they may be able to do some good things, if not at least finish second. And then the winner from Part D, which we have as Denmark, goes into Group A with Mexico, South Africa, and South Korea. Nice even group there for them. So no really group of deaths per se, probably the Part B, the Holland, Japan, Tunisia one. And then moving on to Intercontinental. So in the Intercontinental playoffs, we have 6 countries, 2 spots. We have one from Africa, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have one from Asia, which is Iraq. We have the two CONCACAF teams, which is Jamaica and Suriname. We have the Oceania team, which is New Caledonia. And we have the one from South America, which is Bolivia. So we know Democratic Republic of Congo and Iraq, by being the higher ranked teams, they have sealed their spots in the final round because of their seeding. And the other four have to play the one-legged semifinals. So how that is going is we have part one, which is New Caledonia versus Jamaica. And I think Jamaica should be too much for New Caledonia. New Caledonia, I think, is ranked 156 or something. They are the lowest ranked of all the playoff teams playing at the moment. And that's double check. New Caledonia ranked 150th versus Jamaica, they are ranked 70th. So this should be a easy coast through for Jamaica. This would have been the Trinidad and Tobago pathway, by the way, if we had made it through our qualification to get the runners-up spot. We would have gotten to play New Caledonia, which even for Trinidad, I think should have been something straightforward. So Jamaica to make it past New Caledonia, and then they will have to meet up Democratic Republic of Congo. Now that one is a tough one. I honestly don't see Jamaica beating Democratic Republic of Congo. I see Democratic Republic of Congo being a pretty strong African team to go through. We know they did well in their qualifiers to almost make it through, just missing out. Are ranked number 48, and in their recent matches, they would have had their win over Benin, Botswana. They beat Bermuda in a friendly. They beat Sudan, beat Tongo, beat South Sudan 4-1. So they have some recent really good Madagascar 3-1. South Sudan, those sort of teams. So they are a very high-ranked team. They will be favorites, I had to say, against Jamaica. So Democratic Republic of Congo to make it through there. And the winner of part one, they go into Group K, which is Portugal, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. That is pressure there, because we know Portugal and Colombia will be fighting up for the top spots. And then we have pathway 2. We have Bolivia versus Suriname. These matches taking place in Guadalajara in Mexico, by the way. So not like the European spots where the higher ranked team getting the home advantage or anything like that. So Bolivia playing Suriname. Now this one, Bolivia, Suriname. Listen, I know Bolivia is normally the top squad at home at altitude, and Suriname has been on the up. But I'm gonna go with Bolivia in this one to get it done over Suriname. I'm sorry, I really hope my Caribbean counterpart Suriname can get it done. I'm gonna go with Bolivia. And then the winner of that faces Iraq, right? Iraq is a problem right now in terms of they coming from fighting war, that whole instability in our region. They will be up and motivated for it. I have Iraq going through actually in this one. So Iraq to make it through versus Bolivia. And they will be going into the winner of part 2 goes into Group I, which is France, Senegal, and Norway. That is a group of death for whoever makes it through there. So it won't be easy. Those are the intercontinental playoff spots. The easier part was to try and win your group, which we saw the likes of Curacao did, Panama, even Haiti as well, doing well. So just going through some of the friendlies, we have like the Vietnam versus Bangladesh, those kind of games. We have, let's see, Singapore versus Faroe Islands. The big one today is Brazil versus France. That is an interesting one to see how these two teams look ahead of the World Cup. We have Colombia versus Croatia. That's our next nice matchup there. Chile versus Cape Verde is another evenly matched one, you have to say. Tomorrow, Trinidad and Tobago is playing Venezuela. This is in a friendly tournament, right? So Trinidad and Tobago playing Venezuela tomorrow. All the best of the guys there, Trinidad and Tobago. We have Spain versus Serbia. Argentina getting an easy tune-up against Mauritania, right? The Spain versus Argentina finalissima, we know was cancelled because they couldn't decide on a location. We have friendlies as well. China versus Curacao, New Zealand versus Finland. Australia versus Cameroon is another nice friendly there as well. Going through, we have South Africa versus Panama. Nice one there. Saudi Arabia versus Egypt. Greece versus Paraguay. Guyana, Dominica. Nice. Rwanda playing Grenada. So good matches there for our Caribbean neighbors. Algeria versus Guatemala. England versus Uruguay. Nice one too. Netherlands versus Norway. It's a big one. Switzerland versus Germany. Spain, Serbia. Morocco versus Ecuador. So big ones there on the Friday as well. Then moving on, we have, let's see, South Korea versus Ivory Coast. That is a nice matchup. Senegal versus Peru. Canada versus Iceland. Hungary versus Slovenia. Scotland versus Japan. Burkina Faso versus Guinea-Bissau. USA versus Belgium. Another nice matchup. Haiti playing Tunisia. Mexico, Portugal. Whoa. What going on there? Ronaldo left out, right? So probably they're just saving him for the World Cup, last World Cup. Colombia versus France. This coming up on Sunday. So this is a long international window. We have, let's see again, Dominican Republic versus Cuba. Bonaire versus San Martin. So some nice small friendly there. Cape Verde versus Finland. Moving on to Monday, we are Trinidad and Tobago versus Gabon. New Zealand versus Chile, that's a good one. Germany versus Ivory Coast, another good one there too. So some good matches to look forward to. Germany versus Ghana. Ghana versus Belize. And rounding off some of the friendlies here on the Tuesday, Cameroon versus China, that should be straightforward there. Australia versus Curacao. Good test there for Curacao. Qatar, Argentina, no, that was cancelled. Norway versus Switzerland. Haiti versus Iceland. Good competition there for Haiti. South Africa versus Panama. Interesting. Hungary versus Greece. Peru versus Honduras. Ivory Coast versus Scotland. Yeah, interesting as well. England versus Japan. I like that matchup. Netherlands versus Ecuador. Morocco versus Paraguay. Spain versus Egypt. Nice one there for Salah versus Yamal, boy. USA versus Portugal. Argentina versus Zambia. Not a tune-up there for Argentina. Canada playing Tunisia. Brazil playing Croatia. And Mexico playing Belgium. So that's the roundup there. We went through the UEFA qualification, the Intercontinental qualifications, and we went through some of the friendlies. So a lot of football here to look forward to on this international break. Don't forget, guys, let us know in the comments, who are your team? What do you think about the predictions? Who do you think will make it through? And yeah, like, share, subscribe. GSP on GSP Talk Sports. We'll be talking a lot more football coming up for the World Cup. Thank you, guys.